A very pleasant good evening and welcome to LNTV News Live. 30 minutes of major happenings here in Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. My name is Edward Tama, anchoring tonight's edition of the news program, and the big stories we're following. Finance Minister says the infusion of $25 million United States dollars helped to prevent further depreciation of the Liberian dollar. General Services Agency warns government officials against the use of vehicles, especially after operation or work hours. Vice President Joel Howard Taylor launches the Liberian Youth Orchestra to teach children musical instruments. And away from home, Cameroon dropped charges of fake news levied against a prominent TV journalist from an Anglophone region. Those developments are all packaged. After this break, we'll be right back with the news. Stay with us. Now, welcome back to the program. The Economic Management Team, the ETM, today reappeared before the Liberian Senate to appear the inquiry from senators on the state of the Liberian economy. At the hearing, Finance Minister Samuel Tuer disclosed that 2.3 billion Liberian dollars have been mopped up from outside of the banking sector due to the intervention of the 25 million United States dollars infusion in the Liberian economy.
So the team says, and backed by economic evidence, first there's general theoretical economic evidence that central bank auctions do not move exchange rates. And we can have the discussion. I can provide relevant citations on the studies around countries where auction processes have minimal impact on exchange rate movements. So, and based on the experience of the central bank itself, we have been doing auctions and not sterilizing. The Economic Research Department advised the TMT that if we went to what we've been doing, it would be business as usual. Since the goal is to move the exchange rate from 163 precipitously to down to 152, at least stabilize it for some time, even if it's going back, or bring it back. So, and the graph in the sections there do show. Now, I don't want to refer to graph. We've already analyzed that. Based on your analysis, you can clearly see the movements in the curve. At the time where the trajectory was around 163, after the interventions, it came down to 152. Now, what we're arguing there is that had we not done the direct mopping, we would have been starting from 163, minimizing from that point on, and it would have been going up to 170. That's the hypothesis. What we are saying now to the Honorable House of Senate is that because of the intervention, we brought it back down to 152, and it is now inching in the last 3-4 months back to where, so there has been some net gain. The challenge with that is that we don't have foreign exchange to continue that kind of operation. It's not sustainable. It's a one-off. It's a quick fix, so we can't exhaust the country's reserve. But nowhere in the world throwing money out is going to solve this problem. It's just a short-term measure we're in. So this is the impact. The impact is shown on in the report. You see two trajectories, one where we are today, which is still not where we want to be, but we would have been in a worse situation had we not done the map-up. Thank you.
The head of Liberia Economic Management Team and Finance Minister Samuel Tuer. For his part, the Liberia Revenue Authority Commissioner General Thomas Dona has spoken of progress in government's revenue generation mechanism.
Up to October 31st, we're going to show you that we are above target. The budgetary projection, with a budgetary projection up to the 31st of 144 million. We have collected 161.9 million, meaning we are 28% above our target currently with the LRA. And this is the same with, so even if you look at performance based on the past budget year, we are also above target. So for last year, about the same time, if you look at our total or revenue, it was around 150.2, but at this point we are at 161.9, which is 7.8% above last year. So we are making progress. Now, with regards to the issue of budget shortfall, you know, it's a dynamics that has to come with how we expend our resources. So it's possible that we can perform as we've indicated, but if we cannot control our expenditure, obviously there is going to be a disconnect. And usually, even before the budget year starts, if you start, you know, your expenses are over your revenue, obviously it means you are in for much of what you've said.
LRA Commissioner General Thomas Donai. Meanwhile, the Commerce Minister Wilson Tapper says government is working closely with petroleum importers to ensure that petroleum is available on the Liberian market.
Why did the price of gas go up? And why was it a problem with the gas or the petroleum importers? And what do we hope to see in the future? My answer is that, one, in the Ministry of Commerce, there is a procedure where petroleum prices are reviewed monthly based on an international measurement that is called Platts. On the basis of Platts, we look at the price of petroleum over the last 30 days. And then it is averaged. And when the price increases, the appropriate adjustment is made. In June of this year, we reviewed Platts, and it put the rate at $3.55. At the end of June, beginning July, we reviewed Platts, and it put the price of gasoline PMS at $3.69 and AGO at $3.79. Normally, we were supposed to make the adjustment, but at that particular time, the economy started experiencing an unusual movement in the exchange rate, moving from 130 to 135 to 140, 150, 160. And so we decided as a government, in order to mitigate or to pull down the hardship that will cause our people, we call it.
Commerce Minister Wilson Tapper speaking today at the Liberian Senate. Well, the General Services Agency, GSA, has decried the misuse of public assets, especially vehicles, by government officials. GSA Deputy Director General for Operations, Idris Belite, made a criticism Tuesday to the station.
The minister, is seen, or the deputy minister, whoever, is seen at an unauthorized location, the car will be towed. Whether you identify yourself, once you have the vehicle, the government assigned the vehicle to you, is seen at the nightclub, at the bar, you would not recognize the traffic chief.
When is that going to start? In January?
January, as I said, because there are a lot of officials, there are a lot of us that came from, a very low background, poor background, and we did not have the means of personally acquiring our own vehicle. So when we go about packing vehicles, like we stated in July, we should have started. But we also notice that there are a lot of us, struggling ministers, that need to move about. So we like it for now until January, beginning of new year. That will be a new year gift to all of our officials, that you have to purchase your own vehicle to use on your personal vehicle.
Deputy Director General for Operations at the General Services Agency, Idris Belite. Vice President Joel Howard Taylor has launched the Liberian Youth Orchestra. The program is intended to teach children to play violin and cello's musical instrument. Rachel Colley attended the ceremony and now reports.
Students as well as faculties of the Heart of Grace School joyously welcomed Vice President Joel Howard Taylor for the launch of the Liberian Youth Orchestra. Vice President Taylor overwhelmed by the initiative Law the Change Agent Network and cautioned others to follow their good examples in preparing the future generation.
I want to thank Julie and her husband and to thank Eric for the amazing work that is going on here, especially when you consider that they don't have any outside support and that students who come are disadvantaged. Because there are many schools that you visit and they put you out. And can you imagine putting a child out doing, and they will not do any time except the exam time. So you are not crippling the children, you are crippling the families, you are crippling the nation. If somebody has tuition problem, work it out before that time. But if you wait till someone is taking the exam and you say put it on for school fees, then I think it's beyond what I can comprehend. So there is a very special school, and I'm privileged to be here this morning. I want to thank Julie for coming to start this process.
For his part, Change Agent Network Executive Director Eric Wawa explained some of the challenges faced by Heart of Grace, one of 8 sponsored schools.
This is the first school that was built in the Republic of Liberia to educate the underresourced. And in this school, I think about 70% are underprivileged. So here they pay their school fees, some pay in stones, some pay in chickens, some pay in labor. There's a whole lot that's going here. But today we want to say on behalf of CAN International, the organization that we set up, which mission is to break the cycle of poverty through education across Liberia, that you are most heartily welcome.
There are so many ways the string music education will benefit these students, your school, your community, and your nation. Having taught string music education in the United States for 22 years, I want to share a few of these benefits. I have seen personally this happen in many lives of many students. First, string music education improves academic learning. Secondly, string music education produces focus, organization, and discipline. Thirdly, string music education creates an environment of teamwork. And finally, string music education can open many doors of opportunity here and abroad.
Over 30 students from different classes have been auditioned to start the training for the Liberian Youth Orchestra. This is Rachel Colley reporting.
Many thanks to Rachel Colley for that report. While Bon County Representative Muhammad Briggs Menza says she disagrees with calls to remove all tenure positions, noting that some of the posts should maintain their tenure status. In an LNTV interview Tuesday, Representative Briggs Menza urged her colleagues to carry out careful considerations on the issue before taking any decision.
I believe the thing you are watching here, it was discussed and it's good that it's in committee room. I'm going to make follow-up on about a few observations.
What are the observations? My observation is some of the things you are constitutional. Like we got election commission, we have the GSC, and even the civil servant, which is not yet done. Because if we just cancel, and we just cancel like the election commission and say this, so are you telling me when we go in 2023 to election, in 1 week to election, and the president dismisses everybody and bring in new people, how can you reconcile that? So I think it should be looked at cleanly, and some of all them also came in with the peace accord, with the Accra Peace Accord and everything, like the LCC, the Government Commission, the Government Commission, the Human Rights Commission, all of those ones.
Well, she's also been commenting on the recent Bon County sitting held in that county.
People matter was well discussed, every other aspect was being touched, and everyone left from there satisfied in the matter being addressed for the celebration.
What are some of the things that were laid on the table of Bon County in terms of development? And your district, I know there was some proposal that were endorsed by the leadership of the country.
Yes, some of our aspects we look at was budgeted for. We look at develop as things and projects that have not yet been finished. We took that to consideration because the issue was, oh, let's do our own project, but no, the project is continuing to government, is continuing to it's mine.
District number 6, Bon County Representative Muhammad Briggs Menza. If you just join us, remember you're watching LNTV News Live, coming to you from Pinsville, outside of the nation's capital, Monrovia. My name is Edward Tama, anchoring tonight's edition of this program. In the big stories, we're following Finance Minister says the infusion of the 25 million United States dollars help to prevent further depreciation of the Liberian dollar. General Services Agency warns government officials against the use of vehicles, especially after work or operation hours. Vice President Joe Howard Taylor launches the Liberian Youth Orchestra to teach children musical instrument and away from home. Cameroon drops charges against fake news leveled against prominent TV journalists in an Anglophone region in that country. We'll take a very short break to be right back with more developments. Stay ahead, stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Former Vice President Joseph Boakai is back in country after a medical trip to the United States of America. Speaking at the Thanksgiving service, Mr. Boakai lauded everyone who stood by him in prayers during his treatment.
So today we are here to say thanks to all of you for taking up your time on this Monday morning with all of the difficulties, transportation, all of the difficulties. But I tell you, if you're waiting for God to bring darkness when it's supposed to be daylight, or those are the big miracles you're waiting for.
I know, right?
I can tell you that's not where you find it.
Wow.
The fact that we went the third and we're in a hospital and watching our pulse, and the oxygen tank did not go on the plane. And my son who went with me, he was sitting in the plane one side, who was supposed to be helping me to go to the bathroom. He was sleeping when I was going and coming.
Hallelujah! That's the work of God.
When we had to fly 9.5 hours to Atlanta, you got to go change into everything. I didn't need any help. And I got to the States. My cousin's wife, who happened to be, and God just put everybody in place. Because my cousin's wife happened to be a practitioner nurse. I went, we were trying to explain to her, not knowing that she was already calling the ambulance. I didn't say the woman didn't even offer me something to eat. The ambulance came straight to the hospital. Because you know, in the States, if you don't make appointment, and when you make appointment, you're going to take about 2-3 months. So I found myself in the hospital. The next day, the surgery went on. The next day, I left the hospital. And from the time I left,
That is a miracle.
I just went back to go see. And then I started traveling, going to different places. And my health was restored. And everything is in order. You know, there are many ways that God has to manifest himself to people.
Former Vice President Joseph Boakai there at a Thanksgiving service. Liberia Immigration Service Deputy Commissioner Amos Lavala is calling on well-meaning Liberians and philanthropists to come to his aid. Mr. Lavala pleaded for assistance to rebuild his 2-bedroom apartment recently burned down by fire. He spoke in an interview with the station.
This building 2015, but it was a residential building, and people started to rent this place in order to help my family. But there's a tradition, as I said, when they call me that, oh, your house is on fire. Unfortunately, to my part, when I came, my whole building was on fire. As we speak, there was a duplex building, 2 rooms, with 2 bathrooms each. 2 bathrooms each, and take it or leave it. When I came, I saw the place, my pressure went up. even up to this time.
Can you tell us what was the cause of the fire?
The people who were residing in this house here, beside the pastor had met him and really asked him what was the cause of the fire. And he don't explain because this is on the side that he don't even take one thing or everything break down. And there was another person that lived in this apartment where the fire initially started from. And up to this time, I've not seen any of them. Yeah, what I want for people who watching me is you see the damage that have been caused. And look at my age. I'm 62. So the thing is, who is going to help me? So I'm asking for Palestinian government or government first, and people, donors, other humanitarian people to come and help me.
Amos Lavala there speaking with our reporters on the field. Well, District 13 Representative candidate John Weah is calling on residents of the district to show up on November 20 in Kaziabalad. Speaking at the breath contest organized by the Sharp Home Care Services, Mr. Weah urged residents to vote for the future of their children.
You have somebody in District 13, please ask them to go out and vote on November 20. We don't want to make bad decisions because in this race some people feel that money is hard to eat. Some people do bad things to get money and they feel by throwing out that money they will win votes. But Liberians, we have to raise our standards in this country. That's the only way we will move forward. Not anybody you get up, then you say you won't be lawmaker or you won't be this. We have to raise our standards so that our children will not spoil.
District 13 Representative candidate John Weah, the Chief Executive Officer of the Liberia Institute for Financial Empowerment, Life, Robert Beza, has termed at vital the contribution of the members to the growth of his organization. Giving an overview of the group, Mr. Beza said the organization will continue to empower women in Liberia.
As of today, the year on review, the entire life value is being put at $6.8 million Liberian dollars. $6.8 million Liberian dollars. I say it again. With no catch, borrow from no institutions, borrow from no individual anywhere. You see women you see sitting here, and the few men with them contributing this money, paying this money just within a single year to make sure that they get a dividend, their profit out of their sweat with trust and honesty. Today, we are saying financial freedom to locals. As you hear it, our motto says, life. But yes, our vision. We want to graduate from this stage to another level. The next time, few years from now, we'll be talking about our mission and vision. And we'll try the motto. How will that happen? When? What kind of rocket room will we go through? How will we dance with one another? How will we move and rub shoulder?
While he was speaking at the second anniversary of the organization, while serving as keynote speaker, James Zaza urged members of the group to properly manage and use their incomes wisely.
Having and have-nots. And that contrast, if you want to define that contrast, set and don't do nothing, then you have the full definitions of having and have-not. Because you're going to be neglected, you're going to be abused, you're going to be insulted, they're going to label you to be this kind of person and that kind of person. If you're an older person, you'll be called put up on a witchcraft. Nobody wants to give you an arm because they feel you'll bewitch them. So what plan are you making for yourself to ensure success in your own life? Sad to say, a good number of you, and you have made a whole plan if you are into that category. And our whole plan is, after the struggle during the cycle, at the time of action audit, even if it is 50,000 or 5,000 you have saved, it is honorable to take that 5,000 home. But rather than you are indebted to the group so much, you're walking away with nothing in your hand. That isn't a good thing. They believe you have failed. Although you didn't own a group, but what are you carrying home to plan for the next year? To begin the following year, you don't have anything.
And away from whom the government of Cameroon has dropped charges of fake news levied against a prominent television journalist from an Anglophone region. Mimi Mifo Takambo was arrested for sharing reports on social media alleging that the military was behind the death of an American missionary. The military says the case was shelved on the orders of President Paul Biya. Over the last years, Anglophone areas have been hit by unrest in the majority French-speaking country. Brings us to the end of tonight's presentation of LNTV News Live. Before let's go, a very reminder of the big stories we told you tonight. Finance Minister says the infusion of the $25 million United States dollars helped to prevent further depreciation of the Liberian dollar. General Services Agency warns government officials against the use of vehicles against or after work or operation hours. Vice President Joa Howard Taylor launches the Liberian Youth Orchestra to teach children music or instrument. And away from home, Cameroon drops charges of fake news leveled against a prominent television journalist. Many thanks to all of you for watching LNTV News Live tonight. Many thanks to all of our contributors, reporters, editors, and switchers for making this edition a success. On behalf of the entire production team here at the Liberian National Television, my name is Edward Tama. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Number 9 gets the ball. He shoots. It's a goal.
Fantastic goal.
Yes. Number 9 scores every time.